In this video, we're going to be doing related rates problems. Now, the thing about related rates is the hardest part is setting up the problem. You already know how to do the math, hopefully. Well, hopefully you know derivatives by this time you're in calculus. But the hardest part is just setting it up. So really practice is all you need. So let's go ahead and do some problems right now. We have a balloon that's rising 5 meters per second. Let's say that the balloon is this green dot, and it is rising at 5 meters per second upward, right? Let's use the arrow to show us the direction. A person is standing 30 meters away, and this balloon is 40 meters high. Well, let's say that the person is this red dot here, and the person is 30, I can't write my M's, meters away, and we want to measure how fast the distance between the person and the balloon is changing when the balloon is 40 meters high. So 40 meters is right here, right? The balloon is 40 meters off the ground. So the distance between the person and the balloon is measured by the hypotenuse of this pseudo triangle, actually this triangle we set up in this problem. And we can call this variable z. Let's call it z in this case. Now the reason why we're calling it z is because we need some value to represent it. So let's say that the variable that we're talking about is z. Well, since we're using a triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, right? Anything related to triangles is the Pythagorean theorem. So z squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, where x is the horizontal distance between the person and the balloon, and y is the vertical distance. So now, what do we do with this? Well, we need to take the derivative of this. And the reason why we should take the derivative of this is because we want to find the rate of change between the distance between the person and the balloon. So if we want to find the rate of change, that's a derivative. That's quite literally the definition of a derivative. So if we take the derivative of this using implicit differentiation, we get dz, 2z dz over dt is equal to 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt. Now you might be wondering, why am I multiplying 2z by dz over dt? What are these symbols for? Well, if you know what implicit differentiation is, then these are, this is sort of second nature to you. But if you don't, I'll do a slightly quick recap on this, but I highly recommend you learn implicit differentiation before you learn related rates. So, since all of these variables, x, y, and z, are dependent on t. So t tells us, t is time. So t tells us what our x, y, and z values are going to be, right? Since they're all dependent on time, x, y, and z are dependent variables. And whenever you find the derivative of a dependent variable, you have to multiply it by its derivative. So we took a derivative of z squared, which is 2z, right? And since z is a dependent variable, we multiply it by dz over dt, which is the derivative of z with respect to its dependent variable. So if we had a t squared in here, right, which is the dependent variable we're talking about, this is t squared is not actually in this Pythagorean theorem equation. I'm just putting it in there for an example for implicit differentiation. But if we had a t squared here, well, we wouldn't say 2t dt over dt, right? We wouldn't say that. We would just take the derivative of 2t because 2t is the independent variable in this case. So whenever you're taking the derivative of a dependent variable, then you must multiply it by its derivative over whatever the independent variable is. Let's get back to the problem. Now that we have the equation for this, we want to find how fast the distance between the person and the balloon is changing. Well, that's perfectly represented by dz dt, right? dz over dt is the derivative of the distance between the person and the balloon over time. So dz dt is what we are trying to isolate. So what we can do is cancel all these 2's here, and we get left off with z times dz over dt is equal to x dx over dt plus y dy over dt. Now, if we want to isolate dz over dt, we can just simply divide z on both sides, right? So if we divide z on both sides, we get dz over dt is equal to x dx over dt plus y dy over dt over z. So what do we do with this kind of monster of equation? It looks intimidating, but it's not actually that intimidating because we can plug in values. So x in this case is 30 meters away, right? X is 30. Y is 40, since we're trying to solve for the rate of change between the distance of the balloon and the person when the balloon is 40 meters high. And z is what? Well, z is the hypotenuse of this 30 meter, 40 meter triangle. 30 meter, 40 meter triangle. So we can just take the Pythagorean theorem, and we get 50. So z is 50 in this case, 50 meters. Now, how about dx over dt? Well, over time, x doesn't change. The balloon is still 30 meters away from the person horizontally. So dx over dt is 0. And dy over dt is the rate of change between the balloon, the distance between the balloon and the floor. So it's vertical rate of change, which is 5 meters per second given in the problem. Right here. So dy dt is 5, dx dt is equal to 0, and we have all the other values. We can actually plug everything in. Dx over dt is 0, so if we multiply 0 by 30, which is x, we get 0. So really, dz over dt is equal to y, which is 40, times dy over dt, which is 5, over z, which is 50. And if you do your arithmetic, you should get 4 meters per second as the unit. So, now for this problem, we have a cone-shaped tank that is being filled with water at a rate of dv over dt, which is volume over time. So we have 3 meters cubed, which is the unit for volume, over minutes. So we have this 3 meters cubed per minute. The tank has a height of 6 meters and a radius of 2 meters. How fast is the water level rising when the water is 3 meters deep? So we want to find how fast the water level is rising, which is dh over dt, right? D height over d time. That's exactly what we're trying to look for. So if we set up the formula for the volume of a cone, right, we have volumes equal to 1/3 times pi radius squared over h. Now, a property of a cone, keep in mind this is a geometrical property, is that the radius, the ratio between the radius and the height, stays the same throughout the entire cone. So let's say you have a cone, right? This is just the cross section of the cone. The cone actually looks like this. The radius of this cone from here to here, and the height from that radius, let's say this is r and this is h, is equal to, if the height was up here and the radius was over here. So these two ratios, r over h for red, right, and r over h for the green, maintain the same ratio. So the ratio between the height and the radius always stays the same. So what is the radius in this case? Well, the radius in this case is 2, right? And the height is 6. So the ratio between the radius and the height is 1/3. Therefore, radius is 1/3 of height, the height at all times. And that makes sense because if we multiply our known height, 6 meters, by 1/3, we should get 2, right? You can test it like that. So that means r is equal to 1/3 times h. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want to eliminate as much complexity from this problem as possible. So if you were to take the derivative of r here, using implicit differentiation, you would have, I don't know, you would have 1/3 pi 2r dr over dt, and h and dh over dt, right? The derivative of h is just 1. So 1 times dh over dt would be reasonable when you're deriving this. Oh, and you would also have to use, you'd have to use product rule, I think. But that has nothing to do with this. So what we can do is actually substitute r into this problem here. So we would get 1/3 pi 1/3 h squared times h. And if we were to expand everything, we should get 1 over 27 pi h to the power of 3. And this is equal to the volume. Keep that in mind. So if we were to rewrite this formula, volume of 1/27 of pi h to the power of 3, and take the derivative of this entire function, well, we would find that the derivative of v is just 1. But remember, when you're multiplying a dependent variable, you have to multiply it by its derivative. So dv over dt times 1 is just simply dv over dt. So we can erase the 1. And we get dv over dt, 1 over 27 pi of the derivative of h with respect to time. So we have 3t squared as our derivative for h, using power rule, times dh over dt, right? If you multiply a dependent variable, then you must multiply it by its derivative. Sorry, this should be an h. Yikes. This should be an h. Now, let's keep going on. If we were to simplify this further, we should get dv over dt is equal to 1 over 9 pi h squared dh over dt. And what we want to solve for is the change in height over time, correct? The change in height of the water filling at 3 meters per second squared per minute. Not squared, 3 meter seconds cubed, sorry. Did I say 3 meters per second? Oh my god. Well, I'm losing myself right now. Ugh. Okay. But basically, we ended up with an equation that looks like this. So we can erase everything else. Whatever. We can erase everything else. We don't need that anymore. You can go back in the video if you're curious. But what we have is dv over dt, right? dv over dt is the change in volume of the water, and we have 3 meters cubed per minute for the change in volume of the water, and we also have the height of the tank. So we have h equals 6 meters. Oh, when the water level is rising, when the water is 3 meters deep. Sorry, we take the value we're trying to measure at. So we want to find the water level rise at 3 meters. So we take 3 for the height, and we want to solve for dh dt. That is the question mark in this case. We have no idea what it is. So we can actually isolate dh over dt by dividing both sides. So if you isolated dh over dt doing some algebra, you get 9 times dv over dt divided by pi h squared. And if you were to just plug all our known values in, 9 times 3 over pi 3 squared, you should get 3 over pi. And what's the unit for this? Well, keep in mind, you're going to have to get the unit right. But since we did meters over minutes, then the unit for the change in height is meters over minutes. So this is meters cubed over minutes, but this represents volume. Height just represents a one-dimensional length, so we do meters over minutes. A 10-foot ladder leans against a vertical wall. So the infamous ladder problem. This one comes up in every related rates class. Well, every time any class brings up related rates, sorry. So let's say the ladder is this red line here. And it's 10 feet long, so the length or the hypotenuse of this triangle is 10 meters. The bottom slides away at 2 feet per second. 2 feet per second. How fast is the top sliding down when the bottom is, let's use a different color, 6 feet from the wall. So the bottom is 6 feet from the wall. Well, if you wanted to solve for this triangle, this sort of vertical component of the ladder, then you would use the Pythagorean theorem. So let's go ahead and use the Pythagorean theorem real quick. So 10 squared minus 6 squared is equal to 8 if you square root it all. So therefore that the height of the ladder against the wall is 8 feet. Now, what are we trying to solve for? Well, we're trying to solve that we're trying to solve how fast the top of the ladder is sliding down when the bottom is 6 feet from the wall. So if the ladder is sliding to the right, well, that means over time it'll probably get slanted like this more and more and more until it's flat, right, against the floor. This ladder is sliding against this floor right now. We want to find the rate of change of this portion of the ladder against the wall. So we already have how fast the ladder is sliding, 2 feet at 2 feet per second horizontally against the floor, but we want to solve for how fast the ladder is sliding vertically against the wall. So how do we do that? Well, let's use the Pythagorean theorem. All right, z squared. Z is the hypotenuse in this case. So let's write down z here. This is x and this is y. Is equal to x squared plus y squared. All right, let's take the derivative of this. Implicit differentiation, you get dz over dt is equal to 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt. Now, every single time you take a derivative of the Pythagorean theorem related to related rates, you're going to cancel out the 2's. But some teachers are very strict on that, and they want you to write down the 2's every time. So, sometimes you might just omit that step, but I lost a point. I lost a couple points on a test for that one time, which is kind of dumb, but I still got the right answer too in the end, and I did the exact right steps. I just skipped out on canceling the 2's. But okay, let's stay on topic. Jitty. So the bottom slides away at 2 feet per second. How fast is the top sliding down when the bottom is 6 feet from the wall? Well, dz over dt isn't changing, right? dz over dt. Z is the length of the ladder. The length of the ladder is not changing unless if you have a very hot floor that's melting the ladder, or a very hot wall that's melting the ladder. So dz over dt is equal to 0. The length of the ladder is not changing over time. Therefore, dz over dt is equal to 0. Z is equal to 10 since that's the length of the ladder. dy over dt is unknown, but y is known, which is 8 feet, right? Ladder's 8 feet up the wall. dx over dt is known. It's 2 feet per second. And x is known, which is 6 feet from the wall. So what can we do? Well, we know that dz over dt is 0. Therefore, z is also going to be zeroed out. So we get 0 is equal to x times dx over dt. But I'm just going to plus y times dy over dt. But I'm just going to write down all the values. So x is 6. dx over dt is 2. Y is 8. And dy over dt is unknown. So if we do just a little bit of algebra, we should get negative 12 over 8 is equal to dy over dt. And since we're just only caring about speed, we can omit the negatives. So let's get rid of this negative eraser tool. And then if you simplify this fraction, you should get 3 over 2. And since we were using the unit of feet per second, this is feet per second. So the ladder is sliding down at a rate of 3 over 2 feet per second down the wall. Now, if the direction does matter, make sure you put a negative. But for these related rates problems, ask your teacher. It could depend on them. Mine was fine with the positive number. Some maybe might not be fine with it since this ladder is going down and is going in the negative direction. So if I were to be safe, I would just put the negative. They're not going to take away points for putting down the negative on a test. Unless if they're like Asian or something. But as always, if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section.